Hello there. I know you're getting tired of hearing me say Excel, Excel, Excel. Why aren't you using Excel? Especially for these combination problems, a lot faster, a whole lot faster. I push Excel because every job I have ever worked at, I used Excel. Yeah, you can find calculators out on the web. You can use, your own personal calculators, but I've just always seen Excel used in the real world, so that's why I push it. So if you have a question like this, so this is number 23 of your homework, it says when testing for current in a cable with 10 color-coded wires, the author used a meter to test 5 wires at a time. So there's 10 wires and they're going to test 5 at a time. How many different tests are required for every possible pairing? So in other words, this is combinations, the number of combinations of 10 taken 5 at a time. The combination formula in Excel, well, first of all, when you want Excel to do the work, you start with an equal sign, and then you type COMBIN for combination. You open a parentheses, and notice it even tells you what it wants. It wants the total number, so I click right there, comma, the number chosen. What I did is I click on the cells because I like to be able to reuse this formula. You could hard code in, you could type 10 and 5, but then if you do, every time your numbers change, you have to change, you have to retype them in, right? So I'm going to show you that this is why I do them this way. So when I hit enter, I get 252 and I type 252 in and it says fantastic. Well, let's say that I want to do another one of these for practice. Here now I have 7 and test 5. Watch this. I'll change the 10 to 7. Watch that cell. So I change that to 7. Bam! This is why I love Excel, because I can use this formula over and over. So now I have a spreadsheet that does combinations for any combination question. All right, so if I put in my 21, and let's go to the next question. All right, winning the jackpot in a particular lottery requires that you select the correct 5 numbers between 1 and 41. So guess what that means? 41 total numbers, 5 selected, bam! there's my answer, right? But this one now, you have a second lottery, and so it says here so this would be the number of ways in the first lottery. So 1 out of the 749,398 would be the probability I'd win. In a separate drawing, you must also select a correct single number, and there's 52 and 1. So let's use our combination. Was it 50? Oh yeah, I'm like, you're probably going, why did she put 51 when it's 52? It's 52 equals COMBIN, 52 total, comma, number of chosen. I hit enter and 52. Okay, so there's 52 ways to select one number if you have 52 total. And so now it says, so basically what this is saying is you must select 5 and then you must select the 1. Remember, and in probability means to multiply. So I'm going to take this number times that number, and I get something weird. What's up with that? Well, in Excel, and even your calculator sometimes will do this, I'm right-clicking on the cell, and I'm going to go to Format Cells. And what this is called is this is scientific notation. This just basically means that there's 7 zeros out there. Well, I kind of would like to actually see this number, and I don't need decimal places. So I want to actually see the number, so I'm just formatting it into a number. It's probably because I have the screen, squished. I'm going to click and drag so I can see that number. So in other words, it says type an integer or simplified fraction. There's only one way to win out of 3896696. That's a big number, right? Well done. Good job, Cindy. And again, if I wanted to practice this, I could do similar question. All right, here between require you select 2 numbers. So 28, 2. You see all the other numbers changing? And then 57. Wow, that's awesome, right? Because now I can type 1, 2, 1, 5, 4, 6. I can work these problems all day long because I've set up a reusable formula in Excel. Now, in Blackboard, if I ever post like a spreadsheet, when you open it, just be sure to save it to your computer so you can actually edit and change numbers. But if you click on the cells and look up here on this formula bar, it'll tell you if I just typed a number in or is it a formula? So notice right there when I click on that cell, and I can even double click on it, and it shows me that it's a formula, and it even highlights the actual values for me, okay? All right, well, let's do the last one here. So it says, in a game of blackjack played, one deck, a player is initially dealt 2 different cards from 52 cards. A winning blackjack hand is getting 1 of 4 aces, 1 is 16. 2 cards can be in any order, find the probability, blah, blah, blah. This is one, well, where to go? This is one that I actually already set up a spreadsheet, and I'll put it in Blackboard. So if you go around and you click on things, you can see looking up here, that's a combination formula, and that's a combination formula. I could have just used that last spreadsheet, right? Because the jackpot, it's the same thing. And so here it says two different cards are dealt from 52 cards. A winning blackjack is won by 1 of 4 aces. Okay, so certainly I have my, oh, I'm sorry, this is the jackpot one. I'm like, why am I looking at the jackpot one? That's the jackpot one, sorry. Hold, please. Here's the blackjack one. All right, so same thing as far as combinations. So if I click here, right there I see a formula. Right there I see a formula. Right there I see a formula. So let's see what these are. So 2 different cards from 52. Okay, so that's that. A winning blackjack is won by getting 1 of the 4 aces. Notice this formula is a combination 4 aces and I get 1. So that's why I did equal combination 4, 1. Then it says, and 1 of the 16 other cards, so 1 combination, getting 1 out of the 16, so 16, 1. And again, in probability, and as you're going to see means to multiply. Well, in this case, and that's what I did right here, is I multiplied the 4 times 16. In this case, I need something when I divide. So this is the number of ways, let's highlight it. That's the number of ways I'll get 1 ace and some other card, right? This other 1 of 16. The denominator is your total outcomes. Well, in this case, it's how many ways can I draw 2 cards out of 52? So my combination 52, 2. You'll see this formula here. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I'm just cutting that formula in half. If I go down here, and you're going to see why, is I'm reducing my fraction. So in other words, and I probably didn't have to do it right there because I see I did it down here, is my answer, let's just put it back in there, is that 64 over 1326. That's my answer. But it wants it as a simplified fraction, okay? So 64 is an even number. So what I do here is I take 64 and I divide out 2, and I take the denominator and I divide out 2, okay? And then here I just actually was just showing the percentage, but this gives my actual simplified fraction, which would be 32 out of 663. Nice work. But again, if I cannot convince you in anything else in this class, is how you could use this spreadsheet, It didn't have to deal with cards. It could deal with, you know, I have 55 students in this class. I'm going to choose 3 at a time. How many different ways can I do that? That's the whole reusability of Excel that I'm trying to get you to understand. And then I can teach you these formulas, right? And if you remember, In Blackboard, there is a formula sheet that shows all the formulas in Excel. All right, but if you ever need to see one in action like this, just shoot me a message. Hope this helps, and try to make Excel users out of you.